recording, so I'm gonna stop now, but consider it. So, the past couple of weeks have just been wild. I just feel like I've been all over the place, physically, like, location-wise, emotionally, just like all of that. I've been out of town both of the past 2 weekends. Both of them I was in Oregon, but I had to come home in the week in between for my dear friend's engagement party, and it's been a time. Yeah, so 2 weekends ago, my family had a family reunion in Oregon. It's like my mom's family. So her sisters were there, and my cousins, and their kids. I'm the youngest of my cousins by like at least 4 years, so they all have kids. Yeah, I am the little ugly duckling, the little baby, but no longer, because now there's actually babies. They actually have children, which is great. I don't like being the baby, frankly. At least in my family, oh god, a lot of talking down. In any case, so it was just a kind of clusterfuck of a weekend, honestly. As I mentioned, I think when I talked about the Eras tour, like, it was the weekend after that, and truly the Eras tour, like, took years off my life, I think, like, in a good way, but, in a chronic health way, kind of not so chill, and I'm gonna be light about it, because, like, what's a girl to do? But yeah, it just was, like, it really took a lot out of me, and I was really so happy to go and be there, but it was also, oh gosh, why is it not blending? Come on, blend. Okay, that's better. Yeah, it just took a lot, and so that whole week I just honestly was recovering. Like, I didn't, like, and it's crazy, because I'm like, I feel like I need to validate it to you, and I know that I don't, but, like, it was just one of those things where, like, I didn't drink, like, I was so careful. I think that's part of what's so challenging, is I brought water, I brought food, I brought, like, painkillers, I brought, like, maybe I brought a little bit of edibles in case I was not feeling so good, like, all the things all the supplies in my arsenal of supplies that do make myself feel as good as I possibly could. And I still had a tough time, and that's just hard, but as my therapist said, she was like, you took a lot of steps to take care of yourself, and that's, like, growth. And I was like, queen, you're so right. So do I want a sparkling? Actually? No, I don't. I don't think I do. So anyway, the drive down to the place where we were staying was like, okay, it takes like 4 hours to get down to Portland. It was like outside of Portland by like an hour and a half. It ended up being like a 6-hour drive. And, I didn't know it was gonna be so long, and it just took a big toll on my brain and my body. And, as you all know, like, I'm very used to driving down to Portland, but, that is also, like, I always take care to drive at, like, not traffic times, and, like, if you have ever made that drive, you know that traffic can change it by hours. If you live anywhere with a lot of traffic, you probably know that. But, that's kind of my max a bit right now, like, and by the time that I got there, I was just like a fried little egg. I was just exhausted, and staying in this like cabin house ranch thing. On the way there, I got a flat tire. I had to deal with her. That's always super relaxing and chill and fun, as you know. And yeah, I showed up like, and the energy in the room was just a lot. You know, both of my cousin's kids who are there are like young teenagers. They're like just 13. And so, you know, lots of like big emotions from them, which like love, but also don't love. And it was just tough. There was just like a lot of distress between people, and I've been finding recently that I just feel like my kind of energetic boundaries are pretty porous, and they always have been. That's always been true for me, but as I've gotten older, I've kind of like figured out how to, you know, manage. But in this time, I've kind of reset of being ill, and you know, all of that. It just feels harder to use those tools, I guess, to like kind of regulate myself when other people are being stressful as fuck. And I feel like, I don't know, it was just a lot of trauma, and a lot of like, there was a lot of differing opinion about COVID caution, and that was tough. Like, my cousin and her daughter live in Texas, and she just felt really strongly for her own reasons. Like, she didn't want to have to mask, and she didn't want her kid to have to mask, and that was going to be really hard for her. But she had also like been at a big conference prior, and like had also like flown recently to get there, you know, and my aunt and I both, you know, we have like lung shit. Well, she has like ongoing, very long term, very intense lung stuff, and you know, I have long COVID, so that makes me really, really, really not want to get COVID again. And I do still feel like, even still, like I'm still recovering from my last bout of COVID. And I don't know, it was just, and my parents are very, very COVID cautious. And, you know, I find myself kind of somewhere in the middle, because I used to, before I had gotten COVID and all of that, I was pretty relaxed, you know. I was working in a school and getting sick pretty frequently, and you know, I just kind of felt like it's gonna be okay, you know. And my parents have always been really cautious, and I feel like, you know, sometimes when your parents or maybe some kind of authority figure, like parental figure person in your life, it has a very strong feeling, one pull. So like for me, it was that my parents feel very cautious about COVID. And so like before I had long COVID, I swing the opposite direction of being like, you guys, it's okay, like it's no big deal. And like still really respecting their boundaries, but also kind of trying to be like, hey, like I think we could be a little less. But then I got long COVID, and it challenged me so much, because I think because my parents' polarity, I really didn't want to swing the same direction as their polarity. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm just a little oppositional like that, but like, I don't know. It's been a challenge for me to kind of figure out like what level of precaution I want to take. Yeah. Especially now that my health is like changed from when I first, you know, got COVID. And anyway, that's me. That's the thing about me. are doing to be cautious. And I was kind of like, that's not my business. Like, go talk to them about it if you have an issue with it, you know? Like, it was just tough. It was just complicated. It felt hard. And, because, like, truthfully, I, in my heart of hearts, respect the levels of caution that every, you know, person takes or feels the need to take. You know, that's not my business at the end of the day. And, like, I think, now kind of having long COVID and wishing more people knew about that experience, I still maintain that stance, though it is hard as more people become less cautious, that I feel like I need to become more cautious, and that's hard. So I kind of fall somewhere in that like super gray area, you know. But I like really respect my parents' caution. You know, it frustrates me at times, but I also like, I would not wish what I'm experiencing on literally fucking anyone. If you are also experiencing long COVID or something similar, I feel like you know the vibe. And anyway, I don't really want to get into the reads about that because I often feel like it becomes kind of political, and I don't really speak from any political place, but just from like my own fucking experience, you know. And there's things that I have political feelings about, and I don't intend also to like remove politics from my channel at all, because like there's a lot of things that I feel really strongly about, and I don't know, I think maintaining this guise of neutrality is like, I don't know, that just has never been the vibe for me. But now that I find myself kind of implicated within this very politicized discussion about public health and about illness, it becomes harder to talk about it without feeling very vulnerable. Like a level of vulnerability I'm not sure that I'm ready to take on. Do you know what I mean? That was a spiral. Anyway, so just being with my family was challenging, but I also had fun times with them. I could get stuck in the shit of it, and that's not really what I feel like doing. I got to spend some really good quality time with my little cousins. Got to hear about all their little like middle school adventures, which is fun. I love this setting experience with Wells. So good. Had some really just like nice times, like sitting outside and eating dinner with my family. And yeah, it was just like those moments were really fun, and I had a really nice time in those moments. But overall, it's pretty tough. But I was really grateful to my parents for being really supportive when I was just fucking going through it. Yeah, I was having a really tough time a lot of the time while we were there, and my parents were very kind about it, very generous, and yeah, they ultimately ended up driving me to my best friend's house, where I stayed for the last night just because I like really couldn't be around my family, which was really fantastic. And I'm also grateful to my best friend because like I knew I didn't want to be there like an hour into being at the house, being at the like cabin, and I texted my best friend and was like, the vibes are fucked, and she was like, come over, like drive to my house, like just stay here. And I'm really grateful for her, just like her open door, you know. So anyway, sorry I cannot talk while I do lip liner. That's just true. Yeah, so then in the intervening week where I came home, it was my dear friend's engagement party, and it So, yeah, it was great fun, and so much of my college friends, and one of my really good childhood friends, and we just had a really good time, and I was so grateful to be in the woods, and I just, like, the moment as we were driving in, I just felt this, like, relief wash over me, and I have always been a really, like, mountainous kind of gal. I have been, like, backpacking and doing things in the woods since I was in diapers. My parents once took me on a backpacking trip when I was a baby, where when I was still wearing cloth diapers, and they, like, had to carry out the cloth diapers. Anyway, that's on them, they're crazy, but yeah, so, could call me a nature girl, and you would be right. Yeah, and so, it was so nice to be out in the woods, and just that kind of relaxation, that calm that comes from being away, and just feeling a bit more, like, connected with the world. You know, obviously it's still car camping, still very luxurious, but I just, you know, there's something about, like, sleeping outside and all of that, seeing the stars and swimming, and I don't know, being a little unplugged. That's so nice. I got daydreamy there for a second. I was also remembering a dream I had last night. Yeah, and then after that we were in southern Washington, so I was like, I'll just go down to Portland for a couple days because it's the last kind of hurrah of summer for me and for my dear friend who lives in Portland, who is also a teacher. And it was a chaotic time, I guess. In Portland, it was mostly because the friend that I was staying with, my teacher friend and also my college friend, because both of us were the red devil inside of us. Both of us were getting our period, and so we were both very emotional, and sometimes, and not surprisingly not at odds with each other. I feel like it can be very conflictual when it's my time of the month, and I was really glad that she and I were not in conflict, but both of us were going through it. Yeah. And then it was a bummer because, like, I heard through the grapevine that the people who, like, the friends who had organized the camping trip were, like, disappointed with how it went. And, that was a bummer to hear, just because, like, I had a really fun time, and I felt like everybody, it was kind of that classic group dynamic thing, where when you go and do something as a group, there's always gonna be, especially, like, going away together, there's always gonna be, like, someone that, like, does more, or, like, someone who, like, brings more food, or, like, pays for a meal, you know what I mean? There's always gonna be that kind of inequality, and in my mind, and, like, the way that I was raised, I guess, and I say that in, like, I think sometimes people say that in a judgmental way, and I just mean that, like, the way that I see that is, like, I think that all relationships at some level, water has to go downhill, you know, that inequality, not like systemic inequality, but like, you know, somebody paying for a meal, and then somebody else paying for coffee, and then another person paying for, like, groceries. For me, and the way I see it, is that, you know, yeah, water flows downhill, that, like, you sometimes are gonna be that person, and to me, like, it doesn't stress me out that much, unless it's, like, a repeated pattern where it's, like, I am providing a lot for you and you're not doing anything reciprocally and we haven't talked about it. That's stressful, but I feel like often in groups it's usually not malicious, and in this, weekend away camping, it was like not malicious. They were just really prepared, and like a couple people forgot things, and like they had a lot of stuff, and so they ended up providing a lot for our camping experience. That being said, like everybody made a meal, like everybody helped with dishes for the most part. Like I think working in community often means that there will be moments where somebody has to do more, or a couple people have to do more, or some people do less, and that's just part of it, and being okay with that is really important. And it's just, I often think like it's not that deep, it like, not to like trivialize that hurt, but like I think it's never malicious, and okay, never is a strong word, but it is rarely malicious, and it really hurt to feel like they had felt wronged, I guess, or just didn't have anything positive to say about the trip other than complaining about the kind of inequality, and then I don't know, it's just kind of friend group stuff, and different personalities, and just also like, I realize I'm complaining about this, but I would generally say like I'm not a complainer. I think you can always find something to complain about. You can, and to me it kind of felt like grasping at straws personally, but I realized that different people have different perspectives, especially about stuff with money, especially about stuff with like giving and receiving. I grew up with a whole lot of privilege and resources, and so I realized that like my perspective on giving and receiving, paying for meals, paying for things, like kind of sharing that, comes from a place of like never having to worry about resources. And if I had had a different experience, I might have a different perspective. So there you go. But yeah, y'all know about my Scorpio crush, which then I had decided was like no longer, and now I have no idea how I feel about it. I would say my love life is pretty boring at present because a lot of my energy is dedicated to other things, but I do love a crush, and oh man, this crush has been like such a saga, and I said that like 2 months ago, and I just, every time that I see him, I feel a different way. Like every time I see him, expecting that I like have little feelings. I'm like, oh, we're just friends. Every time that I'm like, oh, and we're friends, then those little feelings creep right back up. Venus and Gemini, baby. Could never just choose a lane. So that was part of my big feelings, in addition to the red devil in my belly, which was probably the core cause of those big feelings. But yeah, that's that. That's kind of the gossip from lately. It's been kind of just a chaotic time, I feel. I've been thinking about making a video about like astrologically kind of the vibes recently, because I think they've been kind of wild. It's Venus retrograde right now in Leo, and I just feel like everyone